a pointed rebuke to one of the United States' oldest allies in the Middle East, the City Council in Washington, D.C., has passed a bill renaming the street in front of the Saudi embassy after slain journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Khashoggi was brutally murdered inside the Saudi consulate in Istanbul in October 2018 by a team of Saudi assassins that the U.S. intelligence community has concluded was dispatched by the country's crown prince and de facto ruler, Mohammed bin Salman, often referred to as MBS. The idea behind the bill, which passed unanimously on Monday, is to remind the world of the dangers faced by journalists all over the world and that a free press is fundamental to our democracy, according to its chief sponsor, Council Member Brooke. But another major motivation, said supporters, is that the renaming of the block in front of the embassy, Jamal Khashoggi Way, will serve to permanently shame and embarrass Saudi diplomats, and all who visit them, for a government-ordered assassination whose architects have still. Jamal Khashoggi Way will serve as a daily reminder for the Saudi embassy and the Saudi government that Jamal Khashoggi and his legacy are just as powerful in death as in life, and that the principles of human rights and democracy for which he gave his life burn bright in those letters spelling out his name and in that sign right just across the street, said Sarah Leah Whitson, Executive Director of Democracy for the Arab World Now, a human rights organization founded by Khashoggi 4 months before. Pinto's proposal was featured last summer in the conclusion to the 8-part Yahoo News, Conspiracyland podcast, The Secret Lives and Brutal Death of Jamal Khashoggi. The series, based on exclusive interviews and newly unearthed documents, examined how the journalist evolved from a longtime spokesman of the Saudi regime into an impassioned critic of his country's authoritarian ruler, MBS, and how the Trump White House. The bill's passage comes during a week when there was renewed attention on Khashoggi's murder after French police, acting on the basis of a Turkish warrant, arrested a suspected member of the Saudi hit squad, Khalid Aid al-Otaibi, while he was preparing to board a plane at Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris. The French later released the suspect, concluding it was a case of. But the incident underscored the still murky nature of efforts to impose any measure of accountability for a brazen assassination that caused an international uproar. In a statement, the Saudi government insisted that those convicted of the murder during a closed-door trial in Saudi Arabia in 2019 are serving their sentences but there is no public record of who was convicted. Notes obtained by Yahoo News that were taken by Turkish diplomats who attended the trial, and that were also highlighted during the Conspiracyland podcast, suggest that al-Otaibi was not among those charged despite the fact that the U.S. government and a United Nations report have both listed him as a member of the hit squad. The UN report describes al-Otaibi as a member of the Saudi Royal Guard who was seen in the presence of the Crown Prince during a 2017 visit to the City Council. Measure is expected to be signed shortly by Washington Mayor Muriel Bowser and, as with all D.C. legislation, will then go to Congress for a 30-day review before becoming law. But D.C. officials have indicated that they expect to unveil the new signage in a public ceremony next month. The Saudi embassy, where the signage will be installed, is directly across the street from another Washington landmark known for scandal, the water. The Saudi embassy did not respond to a request for